Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with a Pastor. Glad you could join me this morning. We've been looking at the themes of Advent, and we've looked at hope, love, joy, and this week we're looking at peace, along with, we talked about the wise men and Herod. I find it interesting that the message of the angels was joy to the world. Behold, I bring you good news of great joy. And it was a blessing of joy, but it was a blessing of also peace on earth, goodwill toward men. But peace on earth. And we talked about peace yesterday as being shalom. And shalom, being right with God, being right with others is what brings us peace. And we see around Jesus, there's always peace. There's always a calmness. There's always a peace that he has. Now, there's always trouble surrounding him, even as a baby, though they had fled, but Herod came and had all the baby boys 2 and under killed in Bethlehem. We see as Jesus grows up, there's always a group around him when he's teaching. There's always a group that's trying to cause trouble. The Pharisees always questioning him. At his trials before they crucified him, we see people, literally tearing their clothes and yelling and screaming and doing all kinds of things. They're out of control. But Jesus is always in control, always has a peace about him. That's the thing that we can have. We can have a peace. It's a peace that Paul calls beyond human understanding. And that's the peace that is offered to us through Jesus Christ. It's a great peace. And I wanted to read Philippians today, where I think he does a good job with the peace. And he says in Philippians chapter 4, verse 6, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Okay, he says, don't worry, pray. And when you have things that worry you, when you have things that are bothering you, when you have things that are troubling you, he says, pray. He says, pray with thanksgiving and bring your petitions to God. And when you do that, God will give you a peace that it goes beyond human understanding. There's something that happens to you that you just can't understand. There's a peace that comes upon you. I've seen it many times with believers who've lost loved ones. They hurt, they panic, and yet there's a peace that comes upon them when they're in that initial grief. I kind of like to say this little ditty with that Philippian passage where it says, don't worry, but pray. Pray about everything. If you're worrying, you're not praying. And if you're praying, you're not worrying. Now, I'm talking about true prayer where you really engage with God and you're really involved in it, where you're not just praying what R.G. Lee used to call one of these Pollywonka cracker prayers, where you just go, God, I want this, I want this, I want this. No, when you really try to engage with God, really try and find the mind of God, that peace that passes human understanding will come upon you. That is a peace that is special when you feel it. In fact, all of these things that happen during Advent are very special. When you're filled with hope, there's nothing like it. When you're filled with love, nothing like it. When you're filled with joy, and when you're filled with peace, all these are supernatural acts. All these are acts of the soul. All these go beyond human understanding. And today I want you to have that peace, that shalom peace that passes human understanding. When you should be just stressed out, you should be anxiety ridden. No, you have shalom. And I pray today that you will have the shalom all day. Well, tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and we'll have a special time tomorrow morning. I'm going to read the Christmas story, and we'll kind of review each one of these Advent themes and wrap it up. I'll see you tomorrow, and you have a blessed day. Bye now.